Have you ever known someone or known a loved one to go through unbearable pain or suffering after being diagnosed with a terminal illness? Physicians-assisted suicide, or otherwise known as PAS, is the voluntary termination of one's life with the help of a licensed physician. From the website deathwithdignity.org, as of April 1st, 2020, in the article Take Action in Your State, PAS is available in 9 U.S. states, including District of Columbia. PAS should be allowed because it gives respect for patient autonomy, gives relief from suffering, and is a safe medical practice. Let's get started with the first reason why PAS should be allowed. PAS gives respect for patient autonomy. Patient autonomy is the right of patients to make their own decisions about medical care without their healthcare provider influencing their decision. Regarding autonomy, it's their life. They should have the right to take their life when it seems like the proper and best thing to do. In an article named Is Physicians-Assisted Suicide Ethical? That was published in 2016 from BerkeleyWellness.com that was medically reviewed by the University of California, Berkeley. It said that 91% said the reason for choosing PAS was the fear of losing autonomy. More than 86% said that the reason was the decreasing ability to participate in everyday activities that make life enjoyable. And more than 71% wanted to die with dignity. Feeling out of control or helpless is the last thing people want to feel when they have a terminal illness. People who receive a prescription for lethal medication can decide when and where they take it, or not at all. Here I will show you a graph from the website deathwithdignity.org, the article titled Oregon Health Authority Releases Dignity Act Report, published in 2017. They show the amount of patients that were prescribed the lethal medication in green and the amount of patients who actually took the drugs in purple. Let's move on to the second reason why PAS should be allowed. Physicians-assisted suicide gives patients relief from suffering. Medical technology today has achieved remarkable feats in prolonging the lives of human beings. Respirators can support a human's failing lungs, and medicines can sustain that patient's physiological process. For those patients who have a realistic chance of surviving an illness or accident, medical technology is science's greatest gift to mankind. For terminally ill, however, it is just a means to prolonging their suffering. Patients can also arrange for final goodbyes with loved ones when they go the route of PAS. Now I will show you a #1 selling book titled Final Exit by Derek Humphrey, published in 2002, that patients choosing PAS can choose to leave by their bedsides for their family. Most believe it is their right to assisted suicide and that it doesn't have to be given to them. Now, for the last main reason PAS should be allowed. Physicians-assisted suicide is a safe medical practice. PAS is a safe medical practice because it requires strict guidelines and has been used for many years. You have to be an adult, state resident, mentally competent, and have a terminal diagnosis as confirmed by 2 licensed physicians. In fact, most people wanting to go the PAS route don't pass the strict guidelines. Consider the example of patients with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Slowly but inevitably, they lose all their motor function, including the ability to swallow or breathe. They lose control of their arms and are physically incapable of taking the drug to end their life. Someone would have to administer it to them, which is illegal. Alzheimer's is another example. They may decide they want to live beyond a certain point, say no longer being able to remember their loved ones. But at that point, it is too late and they don't have the mental capacity to make an informed decision to end their life. Almost all assisted suicides take place in the home, with at least one healthcare provider present. In most cases, the time of death is determined by a healthcare provider who checks their pulse every few minutes until they have passed away. This procedure is safe and ensures that the terminally ill patient gets what they are wanting, a painless and in-control way of passing. To conclude, PAS should be allowed because it gives respect for patient autonomy, relieves them from suffering, and is a safe medical practice. I found a quote by Sue Rodriguez from A-Z-Quotes.com, published in 2002. She says, "If I cannot give consent to my own death, whose body is this? Who owns my life?" For terminally ill patients, the outcome is typically the same no matter what the process at the end of the day. Shouldn't it be left to those involved to make the right choice instead of an oversight committee or the government?